India in the late 1980s faced a severe economic crisis. The bustling streets and busy urban areas masked a deeper, more troubling reality. The country's foreign exchange reserves had dwindled to a mere $1 billion, a dangerously low level for a nation of its size and aspirations. This was barely enough to cover 3 weeks of imports, putting immense pressure on the economy and its ability to sustain essential goods. The government was on the verge of defaulting on its external debt, a scenario that would have had catastrophic consequences for the nation's financial stability. Decades of socialist policies had led to a stagnant economy, with industries struggling to keep up with global advancements. India's growth was stifled by bureaucratic red tape and a lack of competition, creating an environment where innovation and efficiency were stymied. The situation called for drastic measures as the public's frustration grew and the demand for change became more vocal. A new approach was needed to avert economic disaster, one that would break away from the old paradigms and embrace a more dynamic economic model. The crisis was not just about numbers, it was about the very fabric of the nation. It represented a failure to unlock the potential of a nation and its people who were brimming with untapped talent and ambition. Millions of Indians lived in poverty, struggling to make ends meet in a system that offered little hope for upward mobility. Access to basic necessities like healthcare and education remained limited, further entrenching the cycle of poverty and underdevelopment. The crisis underscored the urgent need for economic reforms that could revive the economy and improve the lives of ordinary citizens, offering them a chance at a better future. The government's response to the crisis marked a turning point in India's economic history, setting the stage for transformative changes. In 1991, under the leadership of Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao and Finance Minister Manmohan Singh, India embarked on a path of economic liberalization, privatization and globalization, also known as LPG. These reforms aim to dismantle the shackles of the old economic order and usher in an era of economic freedom and growth, fostering a more competitive and vibrant market. The LPG reforms were not merely economic policies. They represented a paradigm shift in India's approach to development, paving the way for a more prosperous and inclusive future.
The year 1991 marked a watershed moment in India's economic journey. Faced with an unprecedented crisis, the government took the bold step of initiating a series of economic reforms. These reforms, collectively known as the LPG reforms, aim to dismantle the existing system of license Raj and usher in an era of economic liberalization, privatization, and globalization.
Liberalization focused on reducing government control over various sectors of the economy. This involved dismantling the license Raj, which had for decades hindered private enterprise. The government also took steps to reduce tariffs and other trade barriers, allowing Indian businesses to compete more effectively in the global market.
Privatization, another key component of the reforms, aimed to transfer ownership of state-owned enterprises to private entities. This was seen as a way to improve efficiency and promote competition. Globalization, the third pillar of the LPG reforms, aimed to integrate the Indian economy with the global economy. This involved encouraging foreign investment, promoting exports, and reducing restrictions on the movement of goods, services, and capital across borders. The LPG reforms were a bold experiment for India, a country that had for long followed a socialist model of development.
Liberalization, a cornerstone of the 1991 reforms, marked a decisive shift away from India's controlled economy. This pivotal moment in history was not just a policy change, but a radical transformation that aimed to open up the economy to new possibilities and opportunities. The government began dismantling the license Raj, a complex system of permits and licenses required to start and operate businesses. This system had long been a barrier to entry for many aspiring entrepreneurs, creating an environment where only a few could navigate the red tape. This bureaucratic maze had stifled entrepreneurship and innovation for decades. Factories remained underutilized and office spaces were often empty, reflecting the stagnation that had gripped the economy. By reducing government intervention, the reforms aimed to unleash the power of free markets, fostering competition and driving economic growth. The stock market began to buzz with activity, and marketplaces thrived as new businesses entered the fray. The dismantling of the license Raj had a profound impact on various sectors. Industrial parks and large-scale manufacturing plants began to spring up, providing employment opportunities and boosting productivity. Industries that were once tightly regulated, such as telecommunications, software, and pharmaceuticals, witnessed a surge in private investment and innovation. The telecommunications sector in particular saw rapid growth, connecting millions of people and businesses. The easing of restrictions on foreign investment further fueled this growth, attracting global players and exposing Indian businesses to international best practices. This influx of foreign capital and expertise helped modernize various industries. The liberalization of the financial sector was another significant step. The skyline of financial districts began to change, reflecting the new dynamism in the banking sector. The reforms allowed for the entry of private banks and financial institutions, breaking the monopoly of state-owned banks. This led to the proliferation of ATMs and more personalized financial services. This injected much-needed competition into the banking sector, improving efficiency and expanding access to credit for individuals and businesses alike. Small business owners found it easier to secure loans, fueling further economic activity. The impact of liberalization extended beyond specific sectors. It created a more conducive environment for entrepreneurship, encouraging people from all walks of life to start their own ventures. It fostered a spirit of entrepreneurship across the country. Startup incubators and business pitch events became common, nurturing the next generation of innovators. New businesses emerged, creating jobs and contributing to economic growth. Ribbon-cutting ceremonies and job fairs became symbols of the new economic era. The reforms also led to a shift in consumer behavior, with a wider variety of goods and services becoming available at competitive prices. Malls and supermarkets began to offer a plethora of choices, catering to the diverse needs of consumers. Section 4. Privatization empowering private enterprise. Privatization, a key pillar of the 1991 reforms, was a transformative step in India's economic history. It aimed to leverage the efficiency and dynamism of the private sector, which was seen as a catalyst for growth and innovation. The government began divesting its stake in various public sector undertakings, a move that marked a significant shift in policy. This process involved transferring ownership to private companies, thereby opening up new avenues for business expansion and competition.
This move was driven by the belief that private enterprises, driven by profit maximization, would bring in better management practices. These businesses were expected to manage resources more efficiently, reducing waste and increasing productivity. The ultimate goal was to lead to improved service delivery and increased competitiveness, benefiting consumers and the economy alike.
The privatization drive had a mixed bag of results, reflecting the complexities of such a massive economic shift. While some public sector undertakings flourished under private management, becoming more efficient and profitable, others struggled to adapt to the new market realities, facing challenges that led to closures and job losses. The government also faced criticism for selling off profitable public sector undertakings at throwaway prices, which many saw as a loss of national assets. This led to allegations of crony capitalism, where a few benefited at the expense of the many, sparking political and social debates.
However, it is undeniable that privatization brought about a significant shift in the economic landscape, fostering a more dynamic and competitive environment. It reduced the burden on the government to manage loss-making public sector undertakings, allowing it to focus on more critical areas. This shift freed up resources for social sector development, including infrastructure, healthcare, and education, which are vital for long-term growth. Moreover, privatization led to increased competition, which is essential for innovation and efficiency in any economy. This competition forced remaining public sector undertakings to improve their performance or risk becoming irrelevant, driving overall improvement.
The privatization process also had a ripple effect on the job market, influencing employment patterns across the country. While some public sector undertakings witnessed job losses due to restructuring, this was a necessary step for long-term sustainability. The overall impact on employment was positive, as the growing private sector absorbed many of the displaced workers. The growth of the private sector created numerous job opportunities, offering better wages and working conditions. This transition helped in absorbing surplus labor from the public sector, ensuring that the workforce remained productive. Ultimately, privatization contributed to overall economic growth, making India a more vibrant and dynamic economy. Section 5: Globalization opening doors to the world. Globalization, the third pillar of India's 1991 economic reforms, aimed to integrate the Indian economy with the global marketplace. The government took steps to reduce trade barriers, encourage foreign investment, and promote exports.
This outward-looking approach was a significant departure from India's previous inward-looking policies, which had emphasized self-reliance and import substitution.
The opening up of the Indian economy had a profound impact on various sectors. Indian businesses, now exposed to global competition, were forced to become more efficient and innovative. The influx of foreign investment brought in not just capital, but also new technologies, management practices, and access to international markets.
The growth of the IT and business process outsourcing sectors in India is a testament to the success of globalization. Indian IT companies, with their skilled workforce and competitive costs, became global players, serving clients worldwide.
However, globalization also brought its share of challenges. The influx of cheap imports, particularly from China, hurt domestic industries. The increased competition led to job losses in some sectors, raising concerns about the impact on vulnerable sections of society. Despite these challenges, globalization played a crucial role in India's economic transformation, propelling its growth and integrating it into the global economy.